Welcome to Real Bread Life. You can catch us everywhere. If you're watching on YouTube, you know it's Real Bread Life. If you're watching on Instagram, you know it's Real Bread Life. The Facebook is Real Bread Life with 2 E's. That's Real Bread Life with 2 E's. And the TikTok is Breadville. One of the things I wanted to talk about tonight was making your day shorter, or the way that some of the things I do that make my day shorter, and it's helped me over time. Some people hear me talk about when I first started doing the bread, my day would start around 12:30 at night, 1 o'clock, and go until 3:30, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. The reason being is I didn't understand the logistics of the bread business. I didn't understand the ordering patterns. I wasn't good at ordering. I didn't understand the tray rounding process, which is something that you would learn after you get into the business. The tray rounding, if you don't understand what that means, just to give you a quick lesson on that, is this. When we say tray rounding, it happens this way. We get the bread and it comes in a tray, which is a bread tray. Some breads come 10 to a tray, some come 12 to a tray. Some other breads, like say Thomas English muffins, come 22 to a tray. When we say tray rounding, it's like this. I can't just order four pieces of certain products. I have to get the whole tray. So if I was in essence ordering a tray of, let's just say, Arnold Country White bread, I'm going to get 12 of those Country White breads. They don't come 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So tray rounding means they're going to round it off to all the way to the tray is full. So I would have to get 12 breads. The problem with that would be this. One day that I'm delivering bread, I may not need 12 of those breads on my route. So what I would have to do is split those up between a bunch of different stores. Where this is helpful is some people have multiple stores that accept the same product, and some people have so many different stores or businesses or institutions that don't accept the same products. So what has to happen is at some point you have to figure out the ordering pattern for your route. So this would in essence make your day a little shorter. And once you experience it, then you're able to understand it a little more. So let's go back to making our day a little shorter, because we don't service the same stores every day unless you have chain stores or bigger box stores. And that would be your Walmarts, your BJ's, your Costco's. If you're, down a little more down south, you got your Publix and things of that nature. So if you service the same store every day or 2 or 3 times a week, then you would know how to make your ordering pattern a little better to suit you. So ordering is first. You have to be able to figure out how much product you need based on the service pattern that you're going to be using. Ordering pattern. Now, the second way to make your day shorter is, once you know what you have ordered, is to break down. Depending on how you break down your stacks is going to determine how long or short your day is. And what that means is this. The stacks come to the depot, depending on what type of business or bread business or who you're affiliated with, work with, or work for. You may get 15 to 20 stacks. You may only get 8 to 9. You may get 6. You may get 4. But you have to break that down. When you break down your stacks, you're going to build the new stacks according to where you're bringing the bread to. So I'm going to do my gas station, my corner store, my Publix, my Costco, my Walmart, my BJ's. I'm going to make all those stacks. And I'm going to make those stacks. And of course, I'm going to put them into my truck in reverse, meaning the first stop is going to get loaded last. The first stop will be on the truck at the end of me loading the truck, because that's where I'm going to stop first. So that's coming off first. That's how that works. The other thing that I see people do, and I've done it myself when I first started, I would oversleep, come in late, have to get out to beat the traffic and get to the stores that I have to get in and out of before it gets too late, and I'm just putting everything on the truck. What I would do is break down everything categorically, meaning my Sara Lee bread, my Freihofer bread, my Arnold bread, my institutional bread, my hot dogs, and my hamburgers, and put everything on the truck. Now, when I pull up to the store, I was going into the store, seeing what I needed, and picking my order in the back of the truck. This is okay, but to me, it's a little time consuming depending on how big your route is. If you have a very big route and you're in the back of your truck at every stop, you're going to be out there a long time. What is the good part about picking your load as you're at the stop is it's going to be very, very efficient. It's going to be exactly what you need at that stop at that time. The other way, meaning breaking down your bread and creating your stacks right in the depot before you leave, is going to make it so that you have maybe some bread that you'll have excess. You're definitely going to have enough bread when you get to that stop, but that's where the stale comes in. By picking the order while you're at the stop, you're going to be very efficient, which is a good way to do it. But what we're talking about now is making that day shorter. That the way I'm talking about when you're picking at the stop is going to make your day a little longer, depending on who you are and how far along you are in the process. The reason I say that is this: you got your 10, 15, 20-year bread men that can pick the bread in the back of the truck and still move faster than someone that has pre-stacked their bread orders. It's just the way it is. It's with anything else. You do it long enough, it becomes muscle memory, second nature, and you just understand the nature of the beast because that's what it becomes. So with that being said, ordering pattern, stacks being broken down is the second factor you want to put into place with that. After you have your stacks broken down, when you have ordered the product according to your stops, now you have to figure out your route. Again, everyone does it differently. Some people work in reverse. Some people don't want to drive past the stop. They'll rather stop at a store or institution or whatever it may be immediately. They don't want to pass it. And that's a good and a bad thing depending on where your route is located and who you are. So what I say to that is this: you have to figure it out. Someone could have had the route that you just could buy a route and someone says, well, this is how I do it. They bring you out for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month, and you're doing a route with them. And the way they do it is not how you think you would do it. Try it your way and see if it works better for you your way. What I always tell people is you have to try different ways to make it better for yourself. So ordering pattern, breakdown, route delivery pattern, that plays a big role. Now go back to where I just said you're in the back of the truck picking bread. If you stop at your first stop and you get stuck there, it's going to throw your whole day off. This is why it's very important to know where and how you want to stop and what times. The only way you're going to know that and figure it out is when you start doing the route. You'll know when the Coca-Cola guy is there, the milk guy is there, the liquor guy is there. These three trucks that I just named will slow you down. Not in a bad way. It's just that they bring so much product. They have to get checked in certain stops. And it's a tedious process. You don't want to be behind the Coca-Cola, Pepsi guy. You don't want to be behind the Doritos or what's that, Lay's chip truck. They bring a tractor trailer full of chips into the store, and they have to check every box at the Walmarts, the BJ's, the Costco's, and things like that. So you want to figure out how to get in before them, or when they're there, you want to wait until they're done. So that's going to be how you would make your day shorter as it relates to them and your ordering, your breakdown, your delivery pattern, and that's very, very important. Some places, and I'll give you the example, like say for instance, I'm scan based in my BJ store, which is one of my biggest stops. It's the biggest stop. So for me to catch the milk guy or the Pepsi or Coca-Cola or whatever, or the Lay's chips truck does not affect me at all, because them getting their delivery does not stop me, because they're not getting scanned in the same way that I come through the doors. So once you figure out your pattern, that would help you. So the other part is, after we order the bread, break down the bread, figure out how we're going to deliver it. Now we're at the store. This part is very important when it comes, not that everything else isn't, but this is very important. Once you're in the store, you get to the stops. If you are or aren't scan based, if you're being checked in, which some stops, even though we're scan based, and when I say scan based, meaning no one has to scan our bread with a computer or look at our orders. We bring it in and it's all done through the register. So what happens is we go from bottom to top in my bread deliveries. And again, you see it from bottom to top, makes it real easy and efficient. If your bread's not in order, it's going to be a long process. You don't want to be shuffling through different trays, and you want to double check your trays. This is why the pre-breakdown in the morning is very important to me when it comes to getting in and out of stops that I have to check in. When you load from the back of your truck, it should never be a problem, because you just loaded it from the back of your truck. You should be in and out. That's going to be the efficiency that you want to have when you get to the stop. So once you get to stops that you have to be checked in and out, you want to make sure when you get into those stops, you know your way in and out and around the store, in the back rooms, and make sure your sections and areas and where you store your bread or keep your bread are clear. And that's going to determine how you get in and out. So with that part being done, after you get in the store, you get out of the store, always, depending on how your truck is set up, some people load their truck from front to back, back to front, all the way across even. Some people have their trucks with an aisle down the middle, because there's some trucks with a door in the truck to go the path walking back and forth with the stacks loaded on the side. Your straps are secure, and you have a process of securing your bread so that the trays and stacks don't move. A lot of movement on the road. You stop real quick, everything goes forward, everything falls down. Gonna make your day very long, because you have to stop the truck, restack everything, resecure everything. So a big part of making sure that you get you're efficient on the road is making sure that your stacks in your truck are secured properly. If you do not secure them properly, you're just going to slow yourself up, because you're going to have to start all over again. As you're out on the road, very important. I tell this to people when I train them. I tell this to anybody that gets in the truck with me. You have to remember that you're in a box truck. If you're not, some people use a van. Some people use trailers. For the most part, where we're at, everyone's in a box truck, whether it's a 16-footer, a 14-footer, a 20-foot, I don't know, 18, small, big, medium, whatever it may be. You have to remember, this is not a car. This is a very big truck. You're stopping, starting, your wide turns left and right, so much more different. I got my man Percy, and if you watch us, you saw the video, and I'll put that up. I have a short I just made for him, and he started out his first day learning the business, shows up, gets hired with the company. The guy's taking him out on the road, gives him the keys, and says, "All right, let's go." He said, "All right, you ready?" "Yeah." He said, "I'm just letting you know, if you hit anything, you're done." Now, this is his first day in a box truck. He's never driven one before. So his confidence, he's shook, but he got through it. He didn't hit anything. He's still doing it. It's a year and some change later. But I'm just saying all that to say, it's a big truck. So with that being said, that part, moving through traffic, is going to be different than moving through traffic in a van or a car. And if you used to do deliveries and something else, it's going to be a little different. So that part out on the road, knowing your pattern, knowing where you want to be with your truck when schools start getting out. If you're in a city that's real busy, if you're in a town or a small suburban area that the buses stop at every single house. I know a lot of us are a little older and we come from the era of the bus stop where everyone went to the bus stop, got on the bus, off the bus at one stop. A little different now. They pick up and drop off at every house in some towns, in some city. It's crazy. But I say all that to say you don't want to get caught behind those buses. So know the patterns and times that those schools let out in the areas you're in. All of these things play into you making your day shorter, which is the topic that we're addressing. Ways to make your day shorter when you're doing this bread, when you're out on the road, when you're getting your bread, when you're stacking your bread. If you're about that bread, this is very important to make your day shorter. So we ordered the bread. We stack the bread, we load the bread, we get to the store, we get out the store, we're on the road. Now, as we get done, as our day is winding down, for our company, what we do is we scan our stale bread, meaning the bread that came out of the store. Most companies, all of them that that do the same thing similar, whether it's Khaleesi, Pepperidge Farm, Schmidt, Flowers and Beanbo as well. You got fresh bread, so you have stale bread. Our process when we bring the stale bread out is the same as when we made those stacks in the morning. We put it back into the trays. You want to make it easy for the person checking that bread in. And all companies are different. Their stale process is different, but the fact is they're stale bread. So in order for us to make it easier for ourselves, when you take that store bread out, that's stale, meaning the old bread from whatever store, what I like to do is put that bread in trays as it's categorized. Arnold, Freihofer, Thomas. Now, some do it at the end of the day. They get back to the depot, they spread their stacks out, and they put it all together, and then they stack it and they push it over to where it belongs. Shout out to my man Rodney. When I first started, he saw me doing that. He laughed at me. He said, as the day goes on, just do it. It takes a couple of minutes, but it will save you at the end of the day. And, I took that advice and I ran with it. And I can't say I do that all the time now, but at that time, it helped me. And what it did for me was help me with my discipline and my organization in my truck throughout my day. With this job, when you do it, discipline, organization is very important. You want to keep that level of discipline. It will improve your efficiency. Whatever your routine is, create yours. Like I said, people go out on routes with other people and they say, well, this is what I was shown, how I was taught. And that's fine. You have to tweak it to make it fit best for you. Once you figure out what it is that you need to do, tweak it to make it fit for you. So you get your stale all set, and then you should be at the end of your day. Once you got that done, you print out your return slip, you bring your bread back, and take your empties off of the truck. I'd like to thank everybody for joining, taking the time out of their night. This is Thursday Night Live. This is number 38, Real Bread Life. You can catch us everywhere, just like it sounds, Real Bread Life. Facebook is Real Bread Life with 2 E's. TikTok is Breadville. You're watching on YouTube. You're watching on Instagram. It is Real Bread Life. That's all I got for now. Stay blessed. Keep stacking.